Good morning, Kabroda crew. Welcome in. Hopefully, y'all had a good rest of your day yesterday. Little unfortunate for those of y'all who traded the Kabroda system, but I guess that's how it is sometimes. If we're looking at our trade here, with our entry being somewhere like this, we basically just watched it come right back up and hit us out yesterday. So, yeah, not too great. If you're still in Mondays, your trade would look something like this. So you're pretty close to getting kicked out yesterday, last night. But overall, you're still in, I guess. So we'll see how the market trades today. Yeah, we'll see what happens today. But yeah, unfortunately, yesterday you did get kicked out. Yeah, like I was saying yesterday, it's a hard time to trade, tough time to trade. Markets just kind of all over, so we're just trying to do the best we can to keep you all updated, keep everything up to date, and yeah, let y'all know if we have any new insight, I guess, onto what's going on. Got some coffee today. Put a little vanilla in it, but I accidentally spilled the vanilla in it, so we got, it's pretty vanilla-y. A little too much probably for my liking, but it's pretty good. We make our own cold brew and everything, so during the summer, we'll have cold brew, and then typically in the winter we'll have a little warmer of drinks. But this cold brew here is some coffee that they make in Austin. We get it at Costco, but it's like, I forget what it's called, but it looks like the bag has like Mayan temple type stuff on it, so like Aztec type stuff. I don't know. Maybe those are completely different things. Not too into that stuff, but yeah, it's got that kind of stuff on it. And then I think we get the espresso or the dark one. I don't remember. But yeah, pretty good. You just throw it into. We have a bag now, but you just throw it into some kind of filter and then just let the brown coffee sit in the water for 48 hours, and you got yourself some cold brew. It is pretty concentrated, so we actually don't do anything to unconcentrate it, but a lot of people will do like 50%, like 50-50, 50 coffee, 50 water, just to kind of get knock the flavor back a little bit, because it is pretty strong. But the nice thing with cold brew is it might be strong, but it's also pretty smooth. So, and if you want to make it even more smooth, you could go and do nitro cold brew, which is a whole different thing. But yeah, just got some cold brew today. A little honey, a little milk, a little heavy whipping cream, really is what's in there. Pretty good stuff. But yeah, back to the charts. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, you got kicked out of this. Let's say hi to people. So welcome in Kathleen, welcome in Terry. Thanks for joining the live stream. Pretty much all the time. Glad y'all could make it here. Don't forget to hit that like button, and for those of you who are not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you like our content. Like I said, we try to post a couple of videos a week, kind of covering TA and stuff like that. So, great thing to learn. Yeah, we're more of an educational based channel, I guess, is probably a good thing to say. So our main goal is to try to help y'all learn and teach y'all a little bit more about trading. So yeah, definitely hit that subscribe button if you're looking to learn a little bit more about trading. Yeah, this is kind of the setup though for today. Pretty similar to yesterday and the day before. We kind of been in a pretty big range, I guess, here. So we kind of had, and it kind of sketchy right now because we are making higher lows here, which is not too great for breaking out of the range to the downside. But you got, you got the macro trend staying down. You got the 1 hour and 4 hour trying to maybe push up, and then you got something like 15-minute kind of just caught in the middle between everything. So obviously the macro wants to go down, but the smaller-ish time frames, the 1 hour and the 4 hour, are trying to flip to be more bullish. So you got the fight between the two of them, and then that's kind of what's playing out here on the 15-minute. And it's just been conflicting for a while, and that's why you're kind of seeing a lot of this kind of stuff conflicting throughout the whole time. But yeah, as you can see, we had our range kind of set up right here as we came down into this level. After that range setup, then we've kind of traded sideways since then. Typically when you see ranges, you want to see the price action trade below or whatever side you're looking to trade it. I guess you want to see it trade on that side of the 0.5 level. 0.5 isn't technically a Fibonacci level, but we do use it on here. It's actually a pretty important level just in general, even though it's not a fib level. So when we do draw fibs on here, like I just did, we'll use that 0.5 level. For those of you who don't know, Fibonacci is like basically a set of numbers that kind of everything is kind of built off of these set of numbers. So I mean, it's the more you get into it, the more in depth it is. For trading purposes, it's kind of just a set of numbers that people, whether consciously or subconsciously, just kind of gravitate towards and like. So whenever you use them in the chart, you can kind of see support and resistances to kind of know where price action is going to go, just because people trade and that's what runs the chart. So when you have people trading and they like Fibonacci levels, they're probably going to gravitate more towards those levels than not. So that's kind of the idea with it. But like I was saying, the 0.5 is technically not a fib level, but it is a level that people still like and use a lot. So it actually tends to have the same effect as a fib level. And specifically for when we're looking at ranges, you want to see the price action kind of stay below the 50% level or the 0.5 level to go down, or you want to see it on say above to be going up. And it's really not like, oh, we needed, like, oh, when we broke this, that's scary because we might go up, and then, oh, we might go up. It's more of overall, if you have more of the price action below the 50% level, then you're more likely to go down. And if you have the opposite, then you're more likely to go up. So looking at this, we have a good portion of the since our kind of initial make of this level of below. So if we kind of grab this here, this kind of the 50% level right there. So you can see we had a little bit above, a little bit above, a little bit above, and then now we're kind of making a decent move above, but overall we still have more below. Another thing that you'll have to look at though within the patterns, whatever these are called, within the ranges like this, you're gonna have to look for higher highs and higher lows within like the micro trend, like really micro, because we are on the 15-minute already. So you kind of got your bottom here. You could have said this was a start of a higher low, but then we ended up not breaking the top here. So we kind of came down. We did make a higher low here, even though it didn't technically come up and break the top here. We'll consider that a higher low. Then we kind of did the same here, same thing, didn't really break the, well, I guess this one did. So you could say, you made a higher low, and this one actually broke the top, so technically you do have a higher low there. And then now we'll see what happens, I guess. But regardless of all of that, we basically have a uptrend forming is kind of the idea I was going after. And when you see an uptrend forming, essentially what you're doing is you're creating a pattern within this. Now, we don't really trade patterns, but we do trade with our ranges. So if you're looking at this as a range, you are seeing that pattern kind of form here on the 15-minute. And that pattern is a bullish pattern. And same thing with how the range works. When you see an uptrend like this start to form and price action kind of flips and starts staying above the 50% more, and especially if it respects this line, we're going to see it probably go to the upside. And the idea is kind of, I mean, it could be a pretty long pattern maybe. It could also just break out. But if you guys have traded much before, you'll know like that's kind of the pattern there. You have a flat top here, flat top mostly. Obviously, this could be a different pattern, whatever. We have a flat top, and then you have a rising bottom, and that's kind of the idea of the pattern. And then that breaks off, goes to the upside. If that were to happen, on the 50-minute here, that could take us to, let's see. That could take us to about 79,000, almost 79,000, we'll say. It's about 78 something, and that would also get us above the previous higher high, technically, or lower high, sorry, on the downtrend, which would kind of break trend in a way, on the 15-minute at least. So we'd be looking a little more bullish here. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the idea there. That's what's happening here on the 15-minute, just looking at the small time frame. We're going to go head on over to Kabroda though and see what Kabroda says about it. I already looked at it today, so I know, but we'll check it out for you guys. We got an Ethereum trade, grade A. If we open this up, it's actually a short today, so that's good. Ethereum's actually been in more of a long structure, so seeing it go short is actually a pretty good sign for BTC. I believe they actually both fired ETH and BTC. Maybe not. Let's check it out. So this is our ETH. Okay, never mind. They didn't fire. Maybe Sol did. I feel like I saw something fired, but maybe I guess it wasn't either of these. They have wanted to fire. Obviously they didn't fire, but they've definitely been looking more bullish than BTC has. BTC definitely has a very nice short mindset. Obviously on the shorter time frames, it's hard to tell if that's going to play out, but we definitely do have more of a short mindset. And we're kind of waiting for the 1 and 4 hour to kind of just line up with us, and then we can trade that to the downside. That's really what we're waiting for. So you're probably like, well, what do you want to see on the 1 and 4 hour? 1 hour is actually looking pretty decent. More or less, yeah, it's looking pretty decent. Kind of have been running sideways, and then we had a nice little dump, and then now we're running sideways again. Obviously this is that range we were talking about. We've been in that for a while. We are setting a pretty significant trend there, like I said. Same kind of trend on the 15-minute. Obviously 15 minutes just going to be more candles within the 1 hour. For every 1 hour candle you'll have what, 4 15-minute candles? Yeah, 4 15-minute candles. So it's just a little bit more detailed idea when you go down in the time frames. Looking at the 4 hour, you're seeing a little bit different of a trend here. It's looking more or less the same actually. But yeah, it's still 4 hours definitely fighting to be bullish. Kind of came up and ran right into that 4 hour 21 yesterday, kind of as we were going up. We are above the 1 hour 21. Well, not right now, but we were above the 1 hour 21. Looking at the daily and longer time frames, you can see we're kind of curling over here. Kind of tested this daily 200, and right now we're kind of in a rejection off of it, so another good sign for the downside run. Excuse me. Same thing here on the weekly. Definitely in that down run. You can easily tell this is a downtrend here. Like Street Maker's kind of been going over in the videos, we are getting probably close to the end of this downtrend. Yeah, there it is. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And wow, I already have a pull coming off of it. So if you're looking for the move from 5, you're going about 56,000 is what we've kind of been calling. Obviously, it doesn't have to do that. It might not do that. That's just the kind of level that we're seeing on the macro trend. So looking at the big trend, that's what we're seeing happening here on the weekly. So possibly more down run. You know, this bear trend won't be over until probably later this year if we're looking at the market, but it is almost over. So maybe we'll see a flip here and go more bullish. And hopefully after kind of coming down to this level here, we'll see it continue just straight bullish and go up past 130, what were we at, like 128 something, I believe was the high. I actually don't have the high on my thing. Trying to remember how I got that high. There we go. We had a high of 126. Yeah, 126 was our highest high. Oop. So we got to pass that 126 level here on the next up run. Yeah. But yeah, jumping back into our 15-minute, we did just close our 845 candle. Again, a little sporadic, kind of rejected off the 15,200, so not too good in terms of looking for it to continue down. Like I said, we are looking in a micro bullish trend here, kind of running up. Oh, we do need to get the levels on our chart. Here, I just grabbed the levels from this site, so we'll go over here and throw them on our chart here. That way you can see what's happening today. It looks to me like it's going to try to go up. Interesting. So you got your 30-minute range up here. Definitely, in terms of how our levels are set up and how they look, definitely looking like a long run. Yeah, not looking too great if you're in that short on Monday still. It's looking like we're gonna go to the upside here. Definitely almost shorter time frame, obviously, so we could, you know, all the longer time frames that you're just talking about, 50-minute could run up and then come back down, and you wouldn't even know on most of the long time frames. Maybe like the 1 hour, you could say, well, we do see that, but most of the long time frames, you're just going to see a little run up and then break down. I mean, by the time you get to the 4 hour, you're looking at what, 416 candles here on the 15-minute before you get a close on the 4 hour. So definitely a lot of room to kind of run up and then come back down. If we do end up breaking out today, if we don't break out today, I honestly would say we probably go more sideways. There is a possibility we break down, I guess, but it's probably one of the more lower ones today. In terms of just how the chart looks, I would be expecting probably a breakout, or at least sideways chop price action to the side there, kind of staying in our range. Maybe a little bit of a breakdown. Maybe we'll come down below our 200 and kind of get us more into that short for tomorrow, if it's going to follow macro trends, but we'll see how it happens. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing for today. That's what I'm thinking. But we'll definitely see what happens here. Let's throw this stuff on ETH and kind of check out that trade real quick. So we'll head on over there. We don't want to go to the 3. Don't want that either. I don't even know how I got that up there. All right, here we go. So Ethereum's up here. I got a bunch of stuff on the chart, so we'll go ahead and clean it up a little bit. We'll get rid of this fib lines. Just get rid of all of this stuff. Sometimes I just fill my chart up with stuff and then forget to clean it up. All right, let's get the new levels for today. So we'll head back to our site here. We'll go to Ethereum. We're just going to grab the triggers here for today, open it up, and we'll throw it in here. Pretty similar to Bitcoin. You know, I mean, like pretty close. The only thing is we did not run as high as Bitcoin yesterday. So you see we kind of got the same thing here. We want our fib levels. So we got our top and our bottom of our range kind of forms there. Running sideways, we got a little bit of resistance here at the top. Kind of running sideways, mostly kind of in an uptrend as well. More or less, Ethereum's definitely not as nice in terms of that uptrend, but with the kind of has the opposite effect of, you know, yes, we were talking about Bitcoin being below that 50% line. Ethereum's actually been above it most of the time, pretty much all the time. I mean, let's draw it like we did for Bitcoin, just so it's visually easy to see. So you kind of got that dip down where you set your, wow, okay, our line's way off. There we go. That's probably why it was so far below. All right, there we go. So we got our dip down, obviously set our bottom here. Then we immediately came back up, broke through the 50% line, traded sideways, came back down into it a little bit, kind of fought here with the midline for quite a while, and then we broke back up above it yesterday with Bitcoin. And now we're fighting with our 200, same thing as Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin's probably a little bit higher above its 200 than Ethereum is, but overall, pretty similar looking chart here. In terms of the trade for today, technically the Ethereum trade, we'll throw that on here. So turn that right there, and that's kind of the trade we're looking at today. So you got your stop up above your breakout trigger, so the green line there, the breakout trigger. You got your entry down here in the purple zone, also right on our 50% line from our range there that we've been talking about. If we break down, we're looking for it to kind of come down and at least test the bottom of our range here at 2083. If not, continue down to 2066. It is a grade A setup, so technically it should go to at least target 2. But, you know, with grade A's, we kind of set it into the rules that you should take 30% here at target 1 and then 70% at target 2. Again, we're not financial advisors or anything like that. It's just for educational purposes, but that's what we kind of have set up there with our trading system. So we'll go ahead and throw that on there. Obviously, you would not be getting in right now. So it'd be more of a future trade, something you're just kind of watching for. You would need this to come down and close below, one close below the purple line here, our breakdown trigger, to actually be within the rule set that you need for taking the trade to the downside. So overall, yeah, that's the Ethereum trade that we'd be looking at today. Sorry, I had to grab some coffee. A lot of vanilla in there. Yeah, that's the trade there that we'd be looking at. A little breakdown. Yeah, we actually are even gonna make our own vanilla beans extract for our coffee. We got we just got some vanilla beans, and then we have to get some alcohol, because I guess you just put alcohol and vanilla beans in a jar basically and let it sit for like 3 months, and that's how you make extract, sort of. So that's what we're gonna do. We got to get some alcohol first to use. So we have to go to the store later this week and try that out. Then we got 3 months to wait. But it should be pretty good when we get done with it, so we'll see. And then apparently if you do it right, you can have like a big jar of it, and then you take a little bit off the top of that jar and maybe fill like a smaller jar, and you could just keep that jar going, and then you'd never have to wait that 3 months again. So I don't know, we'll see how it goes. We'll see if we can do it. Yeah, a little bit of a breakdown here. That was a pretty crazy little candle there. We ran all the way up to our 21, retested it, and then now we're breaking down again. So maybe we are going to break down below that 200. But, you know, like I said, high probability of upside with how the levels are setting up and how the range is kind of setting up too. Obviously, you know, I want it to go down. Like macro trend says it's going to go down. We got our system saying it's going to go down. You know, stuff is just saying down, but it does kind of want to run up on here on the 15 minutes. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I would say a higher probability upside. Also a high probability we just go sideways, really, too. Probability of dropping down below the level pretty low. Could happen, who knows. You know, your purple level is actually right here, so not too far down of a drop, you know. If we drop below that 200 there, we don't have too much farther to go before we drop below our breakdown zone. So who knows, we'll see what happens here. Let me know what y'all think though in comments. You guys think it's gonna go up? You think it's gonna go down, sideways for the day, or are you just kind of like, I don't know, the market's been too crazy lately, I'm just gonna stay out of it, because you know that's pretty fair too. So market's been a little all over as of late, kind of been running down, running up, been going down when we should go up and up when we should go down. Kind of just been a crazy little market. You know, a lot of people's systems are kind of all over. I mean, you could listen to me or you could go watch some other traders, but it's definitely been a tough market to trade in as of lately. Not that you can't make money, but just it's a lot harder to make money right now. Definitely a good time to kind of, you know, keep your money in your wallet kind of thing. But yeah, we'll see what happens here. Ooh, man, I do not need to put that much vanilla in it next time. Normally I put like a couple drops. This time I probably put like probably like 2 teaspoons in it. Not on purpose, but yeah, I think I put way too much in it. Yeah, who knows? We'll see what happens here though on Bitcoin. See what happens with our Solana trade, or sorry, not Solana, our Ethereum trade. See what happens there, and we'll see what happens overall in the market. Like I said, we are working on a couple updates on the site. Probably more back-end stuff than front-end, but we're working on making the AI a little bit. We're not really changing it too much, but we are making it a little smarter, maybe making it a little better at learning from itself and continuing to get better and better each time. So we'll see how that goes. If you guys were Still waiting on Monday's trade. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's a tough market. 76, 539 and then up, huh? 76, 539. An interesting level to call. $76, 539 and then up. Definitely a possibility. I would think as of short trends, 550 minute, I would think if we're going to go down to that 17.5 or 76.5, we'd continue down. I would think we want to hold this. Really, the 200 is what I would be looking to hold here on the 50 minute, which it has so far. So it's definitely looking more up right now, I'd say. But again, we are in a long-term bearish trend. So in terms of it breaking down, not breaking down, in terms of it breaking out and like continuing up for a while, I just don't really see it too much. Maybe a up run. Maybe we'll come up and test on one of the longer time frames, 200s. You know, you got your 1 hour up here, you got your 4 hour up here. I guess we're above the daily. Oh no, that's not the daily. Where's the daily? There we go. I don't even know what this is on the daily. Must be my long-term downtrend. And you know, you can't get too worried about the like, oh well, the weekly says, you know, we're going in the downtrend because you know, like right now, in terms of how the like longer term time frames look, we just kind of ran down, and so you haven't really gotten more of a. Normally you see price action kind of up down up down up down, but the downs are just longer than the ups. That's how trend kind of forms, so you can't get too stuck on, oh well, we're gonna go down on the longer terms. Just word of caution, I guess. But yeah, we'll see. Definitely a possibility. Like I said, we are looking for the upside here on how the 15 minutes setting up right now, which is not good again for Monday's trade. But you know the system, you just got to stay in it till you win it or you hit your stop loss. I mean, unless you're trying to be more advanced, but basically from what we've kind of discovered, as long as the market's not terrible, like I guess right now it's kind of tough, like I was saying, but typically when you start moving your stops and trying to get out early and stuff like that, that's typically when you run into, you know, the problem of just slowly getting hit over and over and over again. But yeah, that's kind of it for the live stream. So hopefully y'all are doing well today, and hopefully you have a good rest of the day. There won't be a video coming out today. Street Maker's been on a trip, so I might get a video tonight. We'll see what happens. Well, you guys won't get the video tonight, but we'll have a video coming out tomorrow. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, that's kind of the rundown for BTC today. So just keep an eye on the charts if you're watching, especially for Monday's trade and stuff like that. Just watch out for that up run there. Obviously, you can't really do too much if it does try to go up in terms of, you know, like jumping out early or whatnot. But oops. There you go. You know, haven't even seen the chart. Yeah, sideways or up, we'll see what happens. Like I said, the downtrend is definitely a hard thing to be calling right now. Not because the macro's not helping it out, but more because 50-minute just doesn't look very down. And you know, the level we just kind of bounced on is definitely a level that it should have bounced on if we're gonna go up. So we'll see what happens. But thank y'all for joining. We will catch y'all. What's today? Wednesday. We'll see you all tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. CST. Hopefully y'all can make it back in. We'll be jumping into the charts, kind of checking out, kind of go over today's price action too, and see what happened, and then we'll jump into tomorrow and kind of seeing what's changed on the market. But yeah, thanks for joining and thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit. Like we said, we're just trying to continue to improve Kabroda, make it even better, and also improve our own teaching skills to help y'all out, and hopefully help y'all become pro traders. So yeah, thanks for joining again. We'll catch y'all mañana. Happy trading, y'all. See ya.